Hi everyone. So today we're outside and we're at Post Logistics. So hari ni kita nak kenal dengan tetamu istimewa Jessimah Sulaiman, the CFO of Post Logistics. So what is so special about her? Saksikan sebentar lagi. Jom. Assalamualaikum and hi to everyone who is watching. Today in Kopi and Culture episode, we have Kopi and Kenal segment with Jess.
Hi everyone.
Hi Jess, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm good. Okay, I'm excited to meet you today.
Oh, too kind.
Okay, Jess, before we start, can we play a little game?
Sure.
Alright, so we're going to play 2 truth, 1 lie. So I'm gonna guess the lie.
Right, okay. The truth is obviously very easy to come up with. The lie, okay, let's see. So 3 of them, 2 truths, 1 lie.
Yes.
I love horse riding.
Okay.
I make a really mean green curry, Thai green curry. I've done a 10K marathon before.
10K marathon. Alright, okay, so I'm gonna guess the lie now. You look like you're a great cook, so I think that's the truth.
Thank you.
Okay. And then horse riding and 10 kilometers of marathon. 10 km is the lie.
Is that because of how fit I look?
Because horse riding is very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I loved horse riding since I was young, and especially because I lived in Perth for over 15 years.
Okay.
Riding into the wild is kind of like, over a weekend, especially over winters, just really nice riding, just in the beautiful farms and the outskirts. Love it. I'm very much a nature person. So yeah, it doesn't feel like I'm exercising or doing anything like that. But I haven't even walked 10K, and I think it shows.
It's okay because same. I understand.
So I probably made it a bit too easy for you. Okay.
That's interesting. Okay, now my first question for you. Could you tell me a little bit about yourself? So where were you born and yeah.
Okay, so I'm born and bred in Kuala Lumpur.
Okay.
And I'm really born in Kuala Lumpur. Because sometimes people say Kuala Lumpur, but really they're born in Selangor or in Subang Jaya. No, I'm actually born in Kuala Lumpur in the Chinese maternity hospital.
Oh.
So it's in Pudu, if I'm not mistaken, but Kuala Lumpur, right?
Okay.
And then obviously did my schooling here. I went to a boarding school, Sekolah Menengah Sains, Hulu Selangor. And then after that, I went to Perth in Australia. So that's where I did my TAFE. I did my bachelor in Curtin. So I did economics and finance. And then by the time I was studying, I got married. My husband's originally from Abu Dhabi, and continued studying, and then I started work there, lived there for 15 years. Did my master's as well, I should say. I did my master's in professional accounting. And then I think by the time I was finishing my master's, my dad had his second heart attack. So I then moved back to Kuala Lumpur. I'm the oldest child, and sometimes when you get married too young, you've been away from the family, and having lost my mom quite early on, being close to my dad was my priority. So really that was the main reason I moved back to KL. So then started working here after that.
I see. So for 15 years you've been working, studying and working in Australia.
Yeah. So obviously I did various roles. I don't have the normal sort of journey that one would have to become a CFO. But then again, I think you meet a lot of people these days who've gone through different journeys. In my case, like I said just now, I wasn't an accountant to start with, so I've gone through banking. So I was with Westpac, one of the oldest bank in Australia. I was a banker. And then I went into financial planning, which is, investments and giving financial advice. And then I wanted to get into corporate finance. So that's when, I went into different industries and things like that. And now I'm here at Post Logistics Berhad.
Now you're here. So, do you remember your first day at work in West Bank?
Yes.
How was it?
Clear as day. It was very, very memorable just because I don't think it was it's not something that terribly exciting, but definitely memorable. So what happened was I got all dressed up to be a banker, right? Very excited. And at that time, I think because I was way younger, I had 5 inches of heels. And God knows what I was thinking. All I was thinking was I'm short. I need to look taller.
As a banker.
As a banker, somehow the height mattered. This is in my head, right? I need to look taller. So I had this beautiful red heels, because Westpac color was also similar to Post Malaysia, where we have red. And so I thought okay, I need to get these red heels with black and red. Oh my God, I've got everything going for me. Rocked up at 8:30 a.m. when I saw the branch manager, because that was my reporting time. And then the first thing she did to me, the moment I bid good morning to her, she was literally, here you go, here's a cloth, and here's the spray. You need to wipe every single surface here. Please wipe all of this clean. And I'm still, my jaw was about to drop. I'm literally right, that's my first job. And the cloth wasn't clean. It was I can't remember the color now, but it was pretty dirty.
Okay.
So the spray bottle, it wasn't some glamorous Mr. Muscle or anything. It was just like a water bottle spray. So I'm holding this too now, and I'm right, wipe. And she was over the counter, she's showing me around the branch. So in Westpac, we had the desk towards the side, the banker desk, and there's counters. So the tellers will actually be at the back of the counters. So she's showing me a large, long table, if you will, and some rails where the customers would be standing to line up and things. This is nearly 2 decades ago, right? So she was pretty much wipe it, clean it, right? So I did that for about, I can't remember, 15 or 20 minutes, but it felt forever because I'm questioning my life choices and what did I get myself into?
And you are wearing heels.
I'm wearing heels. No, at that point I didn't feel the pain yet because then I completed this task and I handed back the cloth, or I can't remember. I put it somewhere and I'm right, what's next? Very excited because you have to look very chirpy, right? This is your boss you're talking about. And she took out her wallet. She took out $10. And she was okay, well, there's a florist 2 streets down. Just walk down straight. And I'm walk down, questioning it again. But walk down, walk down to this street, Quincy Street, and pick up the flower. There's a bunch under my name, Rosie. My manager's name was Rosie. And so I went and, walked with the heels. Felt forever. Because we're talking about pebble stones, right?
Oh, wow.
And I'm not questioning all my other decisions in life. And I brought back this beautiful bunch of flowers, just some wild daisies and flower bread and all this. So I just brought it all back and gave it to her. And now by this time, because the walking back against the sun and everything, I've mustered up some, courage to question. What is my job task, right? So I went to her and I said to her, right, will that be all? When do I get to do my banker's role?
I want to do my banker's job now.
Something to that tone. I don't know if that's exactly how I asked it, but I assure you there was some tone of, questioning my manager. And she understood what I was doing, and she pretty much said to me, Jessimah, your role and your task is whatever I tell it to be. And I was wow. I just kept quiet, right? I was oh, okay, well, I've definitely misspoken now. And she was this fierce Brazilian first generation migrant lady. So she's very ambitious. And this is someone, just to share as well, today she's gone to become a director in one of the top banks in UK. She's someone who's really hustles for results and I'm very proud to have had her as a boss. But she then went on to, explain to me many things. But one of the things that she said at that particular moment was, understand that, your role is not limited to your job description. You have to roll up your sleeve, your environment, the people that you work with, the place that you work with, everything ties in together. And a lot of times today you see leaders who are so afraid to roll up their sleeve and go down and try to do something that they may not understand, they may not know. But that valuable lesson from her taught me that, no matter what my pain is, I have to be willing to roll up my sleeve. I have to be willing to do that. And I never limit myself to the job descriptions. I can go for an interview, my future bosses can tell me whatever my job is going to be. In my head, I have a certain result that I need to achieve, including when I was coming into Post Logistics Berhad as well. It didn't matter what my title is. I'm going to do certain things, and that's what I'm going to do. Whatever it takes.
Okay.
So very memorable first day that I carry very close to my heart. But since then I wore, practical size heels, especially on my first day.
So that was the last time you wore like 5 inches?
No, I carried on because you're so young.
Yeah.
When you're so young and 30 kilos lighter, it's so easy, right? It's so easy because when you're so young, only when someone tells you to do something, it aches a bit. But when you're doing it out of your own will, everything changes. The moment you see it as a learning curve, the moment you see it as opportunity, the moment you see it as something that you want to embrace and do, nothing feels like a hassle anymore. And that's quite true even till today. It's the mindset.
Wow. That is so fun, interesting, and wow. Hello, now we're back. I have my second question for you. So we've talked about your first day at Westbank Bank. Now I want to ask you, how long have you been working professionally?
So professionally, including my I want to call it trying out job days, especially over the holidays and during uni time and all of that, 20 over years, so a couple of decades already. Since the day I've started my Westpac job, more than 18 years now.
More than 18 years,
Yes.
20 years, yeah?
Yep.
So could you please walk us through like some of your key highlights in your career?
Yeah, sure. So I started off as a banker, obviously, and then I went into financial advising, where I was even in the process of preparing investment advice, and then looking at the client's need, and then giving them advice myself as well. And then I went on, for a while I did a short stint of a sales consultant role where, you face customers directly, you understand what salespeople are doing, you look at the overall region performance and all of that. I thought that was very important for me to develop certain skills as well. And then I went into accounting and finance role before I became a CFO as well. So the journey has been somewhat, I would say I've covered a diverse range of experience, and all of that has been monumental to who I am today. I don't think I can be the person I am today if I had started my journey as an accountant. Not to say there's anything wrong with that, but if that was the only journey I had, I might not be able to understand operational issues. I might not be able to understand commercial issues. Sometimes, when you have your commercial PICs telling you these are the challenges that they're facing, so you must have some sort of understanding and able to relate to their challenges. If you were to offer solution purely based on, performance and numbers, and even in a manner where you're demanding those performances, it's not going to be effective. People tend to respect people who can empathize and understand them better. If you just want to sound someone who's just demanding for results without understanding the challenges that they go through. I'm very lucky to have had the journey that I've had.
Oh, okay, interesting. Nice, because those experiences, those early days, shape who you are today.
Definitely.
The empathy, because you meet people, right?
Yep. I mean, also the role of a CFO today as well. It's no longer just, staying behind, doing your reports and just doing your forecasting and get involved with the company strategy only once a year when you're doing your AMP. That's no longer the case anymore. These days, you really have to become a business partner to your CEO. You really have to be involved in the strategic direction of the company. You also need to be, it's almost like you are giving a financial sort of guidance to every single aspect of your company, and people play the biggest part.
Yes.
Because if a CFO says that, oh no, I've got nothing to do with people because people is the head of people's role, that's no longer true. People are your assets, and especially true for the finance division. You see a lot of accountants these days, there's a trend of burning out. Simply because some of them, especially when they're doing their closing and things like that, your monthly and reporting, there's deadlines, and they repeat this over a period. They constantly do it month to month. They keep doing it. So when the roles are so monotonous, they become, very reluctant to continue doing that over a long period of time. And then you get a lot of accountants who now become entrepreneurs, after years, maybe a couple of decades of doing it, they're like, okay, well, I had enough. I don't want to do this anymore.
Enough of numbers.
So the challenge that I have as a CFO is, getting to know my people, understanding their drive, understanding their purpose of being part of this organization. What is their personal attachment to this organization? Is it something that they are trying to learn? Are they gaining more experience? Is this their destination? Are they looking to be loyal and grow with an organization? Do they need some sort of extra care? Have we done enough to invest in our people? And then if I extend beyond the finance division, I look at the operation part. Operation people for a service company like ours, they're the most important asset we can have.
Yes.
People is everything here. So for a CFO to say that, it's not about all of these, it's just numbers, then you might not get the results you want.
Exactly.
So
exactly. True. Okay, having worked at Australia and also Malaysia, how do you compare the working culture?
The working culture. Well, let's talk about my culture shock.
Culture shock? Where? Australia?
No, here.
Oh, here. Okay.
No, not so much of a culture shock in Australia because I think I was very close to my parents and pretty much I went as a young adult to Australia. So I didn't know better. So I didn't get an opportunity to get a culture shock in Australia.
Okay.
But when I came back here as an adult,
okay,
all of a sudden, especially in my first job here, I noticed that people would clock in and then they would go off for their morning tea and then they'll be back for an hour or so, trying to gain back that momentum, and they're off then to lunch, and then they come back and then it seems like they're gaining a bit of momentum, and then they go for evening tea and then they come back and then all of a sudden that comeback process is very short, right? Because then it's home time. And I'm like, whoa, what just happened? What is the break time? So that was a culture shock because back in Australia, number one, we don't have the culture of going out and eating. So going out and eating would be something of a role where people are much more customer facing, and their customers come from external, so you have to engage with customers, and all the roles that I've had, it's very much, because banking and financial institution and all, it's quite in the background. Yes, we do see customers, but customers come to us. So the culture that I probably had is where I have half an hour to 1 hour lunch break. My food I bring from home. Meal prep is so common in Australia. We all prepare our own meal. Eating out is a luxury, nothing like over here. And I actually do it till today. I've got my fridge in my office, and I do a meal prep, and I bring it for the whole week. Because I don't have the time to actually go out, and the traffic here is horrible.
Yes.
I would, occasionally have some appointments to probably catch up with people, or if there's a lunch appointment, yes. But otherwise, I still maintain that part of my working culture. Lunch. I brought it back here. But then again, I get quality ingredients. I argue that it's because I want to look after myself. So I bring, proper good food. That's not to say that I'm not, spoiling myself. I have my occasional, fruit and chocolates and things like that. I have a sweet tooth. I've got ice cream in my fridge. So.
Oh my!
So
Love that.
Yeah, I know. So if I ever get a bit sad with our performance, just so that our bosses know, I calm myself down with a spoon and my ice cream top. Just one spoon, I tell myself. But all matters being serious, though, the concern why I had this culture shock was because I questioned the productivity, the manforce efficiency, whether or not do we need this many people, are we productive enough, things like that. But there's good and bad in everything. The way I see it is that Australians are all about work-life balance. You can never get an Australian to stay up till 8 p.m., sacrifice their time with their family to get something done. But Malaysians, right, as much as I say it, that's my initial observation, obviously. Over here, that there's a different style of communication. So communication styles differ from both countries. But over here, you have loyal people who would sometimes, when we really need it, they would put the company first. And that to me is very valuable, right? They put the company first. So as much as, I said it very plainly just now, I do see that, there's pros and cons here.
Yes.
Even in terms of coming back to the communication styles as well, Australians are pretty direct. We say what we think straight away. Whereas Malaysians, will still try to keep everything very harmonious.
Yes.
You respect the hierarchy. You build the relationship before you even give a feedback.
Yeah.
And things like that. They don't want to stir the pot, right? And to me, I'm like, what pot? I'm here to work. We need constructive feedback to be able to progress, to move further.
Correct, yes.
I try to remind myself sometimes there's a pot, but sometimes I do it for fun. Sometimes I do it for fun with my people because I want them to think. I want them to think that nothing is okay. The moment you get into a comfort zone, that's when you stop progressing.
Yeah.
The moment you think everything is okay, you don't think about improving anymore. But the moment you say something is wrong, somebody have got this wrong, sometimes it gets it stirring right away because everybody's wondering, what have I done? So
you're stirring the pot.
But it's necessary, especially in post-logistic. Currently, we are going through somewhat of I would say a transformative journey where we are trying to get our people to drive certain things, to a certain initiative. So it's important to get people up together and you find creative ways to do it.
Your way, it's your way. Okay, all right. Okay, my next question would be, what has been your professional proudest achievement so far?
I think I can't really pinpoint to one single achievement. I think it's because just the kind of person I am. I don't dwell whether in failures too long, or I don't take pride in my winnings too grand either. I tend to keep my foot on the ground and just look up for the next one. So having said that, I think some of the times where I do get somewhat of that inner feel-good feeling is when I feel like I've actually brought out the best in a person, an individual. I enjoy mentoring. I'm a committee member for Women in Business in CPA Australia. So we do a lot of mentoring and also we try to what do you call it, address a lot of issues for women being placed in leadership roles, or how they can better themselves, even entrepreneurs also, right? So it's not just for women. Yes, in this particular avenue, it's mainly for women, but I also try to drive that throughout any encounters that I have. So even in my workplace as well, I think I do this Kopi and Kenal amongst my staff, because I think it's a good thing. I think that it's good. So I will try to allocate 2 times a month, and I will mark which staff I want to do it with. It's not just for finance staff.
Individually?
Okay. So I actually literally have them in my office. If I'll make them the coffee, and because sometimes as a leader, you have that gap. You have to admit that there is a gap. So you have to bridge that gap, right? Sometimes a simple initiation of conversation and making a cup of coffee for both of us to have it together, it bridges that in a human level, right? So I do this maybe with a commercial person, maybe with an operation person. Sometimes, yes, it might be with my head. I might be seeing them again and again. But, most of the people that we have now are also fairly new to their role. There have been some internal promotions. There have been some new hiring. So, I want to know them as an individual, So the feel-good factor comes when I see them over a period of time. I help them to identify their strengths, because you want to celebrate strengths. No any person is bad or weak or stupid or useless. These are all negative connotations, and they're not good. It's a leader's role to identify the strength in their people, place them in the correct roles, and then you have a team that works together. So by celebrating their strengths, they get more confident, and then you also reach out. You ask, what do they need? If they need more training, they need more explanation, they need more guidance. Sometimes all they want, especially when someone, from my experience of having people who have been around for a long time in the company, they always want to feel that they have more exposure. When they feel that they're being isolated by management to just do what they have been asked to do, they feel like you're shoving them around, and it's not fair. I wouldn't want to feel that way. So I try to do as much as I can. So sometimes, yes, the proudest or the feel-good feeling, I call it, is when I feel that I have done more to lift up others around me. It's a very it is something that will bring good for everyone. It's for the greater good, right? And I know that a lot of people think that you just need to spend a short period of time, or you have to set a very organized activity. But no, you just do it as a human level. You just connect with them. It has to be a genuine connection.
True.
People can tell when it's not genuine. People know when you're faking things. People know when you're just saying, hi, how are you doing today? And you just leave it there. People know if you genuinely care. So that's important to me. And I feel like, that's something that I'll continuously do throughout my career and after.
Oh, I love that.
So far for the after, but
I love that, because making an impact in somebody's life is just priceless.
Yeah.
And actually, in culture management, we also have this monthly session, intimate session, where we just gather and in an intimate group to just talk about casual things. We do it monthly, and it's to create this thing called psychological safety, and I think you are currently doing it.
Psychological safety, that's an interesting term. Yeah.
You are killing it.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. I'm glad to know that I'm doing some things that's sort of in the workplace culture sort of thing is aligned, right?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
I learn. Okay. All right. So my next question is, we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
So if you could go back to a time where you think, I can do this differently, when was it and what was it and what would you do?
Okay. So this one I think ties in back to the question that you asked me in the beginning of our conversation. I really regret not being as physically active and not incorporating some sort of fitness regime or just being very active in my 20s, because I think I was very ambitious and very driven. I still am. And so, physical activity or exercises sort of like take a back seat. I sort of like am trying at the moment. I'm in my own journey. I do Pilates. I know you can't tell. It's okay. but it's there. It's there. I'm working my core.
Okay.
It's not very strong still, but it's something that I feel like maybe in recent times it has been emphasized a lot more, and we have social media where it talks about benefit. Exercising is much more of a lifestyle now, but back then it wasn't. You had the gym people, you had the sporty people, and you had the people, right? So
the normal people like
the
us.
normal people. So, but there is a bit of a struggle. I have to tell myself mentally that I'm doing this for my future health.
Yes.
I'm turning 40, and one of the things that I want to do by the time I'm 45, it's that, it's one of my own personal goals to be much more active. Yeah.
Maybe someday 10 kilometers marathon?
No, let's not get that far.
Okay. All right, sure.
I'm being very practical here. I think so.
We need to set practical goals.
Practical goals.
Okay. Okay.
Probably okay. Well, I will share my practical goal because I obviously don't want to sound like I'm turning down a fitness goal. I have a very practical goal. There is something called the Reformer Pilates. So currently I go for classes where the instructor actually guides you step by step what to do. So in 5 years' time, I hope that I'm no longer going for classes and I have a reformer in my house. It's not too expensive. You can just get one. And I no longer need a guidance of someone to show it to me. Instead, I wake up every morning and I do my own session of 15 minutes. That's all it takes. You stretch your muscle, you strengthen your core, you strengthen all your muscles, you activate all your muscles, and so I want to do it. That's what I mean. It has to be ingrained in my DNA to be able to do Pilates every day. So I have a goal. It's just nothing like 10K marathon.
But that's a practical goal.
It's a practical goal. It's achievable.
True.
Hard work, but it's achievable. Yeah.
One day, inshallah. Okay, what's the funniest or most unexpected thing that's happened at your work?
Well, let's see. I think funniest. I mean, like, funniest is always going to be short moments, which sometimes, I just laugh about it then and I forget. I'm not really a very funny person. Very honest, I'm not really a very funny person.
Something significant that happened to you.
Something significant. Okay, well, let's see. I mean, I probably could share the story that I told you guys just now, right? Yeah, that is funny to a certain extent.
Actually, that's
yeah. We had an offline chat, and I was just telling her about the story just now, where the time when I actually joined Post Logistic Berhad for my first interview, I actually came and I had to take up 2 flights of stairs. And for whatever reason, I was assuming that the lift was being repaired. And I had my interview, and months later when I actually joined office, the first question I asked, because I saw I still had to take the stairs. I was, obviously someone showed me to my office, and I was like, well, is the lift still not being repaired? And that's when I got to find out there's no any lift to start with. The whole building doesn't have a lift. So now, since I've started this job, I have to take 2 flights daily going up. I'll try to minimize the commute. So you can see why I'm having lunch in my office as well. So I don't have to go down. So you do it once when you go up, and then the evening when I leave. So yeah, that was funny to me. So now I do a public social service announcement. Whoever I get a chance to interview, I tell them straight up, okay, the lift is not being repaired. There's simply no lift, right? Be prepared to get your calf muscle really strong, because there's no lift and we're not building one. There's no budget. It's probably never going to happen. That's funny
Yeah,
to
yeah,
me.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny because when we first arrived, I was like, "Where's the lift?"
yeah. You see, you see.
There's no lift actually.
There's no lift.
There's no lift.
There's no lift because you see this tall building and then there's no lift. Don't know whose idea it was, but anyway.
But it's okay.
Yeah,
Healthy
yeah.
lifestyle.
Yep. They're trying to warm me up. I probably should put a reformer in my office and then, maybe then
yes.
the 15 minutes a day thing would actually happen because I've started with my warm up. And then
Then you just stayed away for 15 minutes. That could happen.
getting closer to my goal.
Yeah,
and Post Logistic Berhad is helping me with it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Life goals.
That's nice.
Yeah.
All right. So my next question would be, who has inspired you? One person.
One person.
In your journey, yeah.
In my journey.
Yes.
I think through it all, it has to be my father. Actually, my father and my mother, because I don't see them as separate entity. I see both my father and my mother as one. My mother is obviously, I lost her in my early 20s, but she was my best friend. And she was someone who I spent my entire life with. I wasn't one who liked to go to school until I was in boarding school and I had to go to school. So I spent time, I was one of those kids who get bored very easily at school. I do very well at school, but I just get bored. So mom was someone who dedicated her time to sort of like homeschool me. We had hobbies, we do paintings, we read a lot together, we shop a lot. So she was everything to me. But, as an adult, I realize now that she's the person who fostered continuous learning to me. She didn't, these days you see all this diagnosis of neurodiversity and I think I'm starting to understand better. But at that time, my mother saw it as a need to make sure that, I'm engaged. If I'm bored, I'm engaged. She realized that I have this thirst to continuously learn something. But she don't just tell her child to learn. She's doing it together with me. So till today, I ache to learn. Probably the only things that I probably do repetitively is playing chess. I have a chessboard in my office. I don't play with people, not to sound like a bit of a loony, but yeah, I play with myself. It's harder to challenge yourself. If you're actually quite honest about your moves, it's harder to challenge yourself. It's easier to play with someone else. And I obviously read a lot as well. So mom is someone who put that inside me since I was young. My dad was he was in corporate as well. He was in his CEO role as well before retiring and everything. And he instilled those values that becomes my principles and values today. I have my non-negotiables, how I do things, how I talk to people, how I don't give up my life goals. I've seen him being so resilient, and that grit can never be built overnight. That grit is something that you have to be, it has to be ingrained in you. It's like when you are trying to train someone for, a competition or whatever. Athletes, they do it over years. For that, maybe 5 minutes performance, right? So I had that sort of mental training from my father very early on. He's the person who, it's not an Australian culture. It's not the people that I worked with, but it was my father. My father treated all of us siblings as adults. He would always ask us for our opinions. He would make us sit in the adult table, not addressing us as children, but as people. Voice out your opinion. So I was never afraid to speak up, to go anywhere at all and say what I think. Respectfully, obviously, but also being a woman. These days, you hear a lot of talks about we need to give a seat to the woman for the table. Yeah. But my dad was the person who said to me that, even if there's no any seat in the table for you, you pull up a seat and you sit at the table. So he gave that kind of confidence that I don't think anybody could do it. A parent's love for the child, it goes beyond everything and anyone.
Agree.
Right?
Yes.
I have a tremendous supportive spouse. Alhamdulillah. Spouse is always God's blessing for you.
Yes.
And my husband is my strength. But my parents, my father is the one who actually put that in my mental being, you know, to become the person I am today. And even till today, you know, he's not the kind of person who would advise the child. I was in a profitable company previously, and I wanted growth. And he's not the kind of father who would tell you, well, you're doing well now, so why do you need to move? No, my father was like, do what you think is right for your growth. So I wanted to go into a loss-making company. Inshallah, we'll be profitable. Inshallah. We are working towards that. Inshallah. But you know, I wanted to come into a company like Post Logistic Berhad because this is how I'm going to learn a lot more. Not only develop myself professionally, but personally too. Because you learn so much by trying to guide other people to work along your side to transform a company. But to have the mental energy, to have that personal motivation to do that, you know, it's not a job for me. It's not about my job description. It's about who I am.
It's your purpose.
Yeah, it's my purpose. You know, so I don't feel tired. I'm very much invested. You know, and these are the things which to me till today, Alhamdulillah, I had my parents. You know, I know that I wanted to be a CFO from very young. You know, I see my father in leadership roles. You know, I see my dad friends and you know, so I was very familiar with all the, what do you call it? I was very exposed. So I see how everyone, you know, carried themselves and everything. And all of this, it's definitely my father. So my father has influenced this. I also have to be thankful to leaders and bosses and mentors, like I said. Reason being, no one person in particular, all of them, including Rosie, my first boss. Because they gave me valuable advice. They believed in my potential.
I'm sure all of them are so proud of you, of who you are today.
Alhamdulillah.
And in the future.
In the future.
And in the future.
In the future,
yes,
inshallah.
inshallah.
Got a lot more to do.
Yes. Go for it. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So, okay, my last question, final question. Okay, are you ready for it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, what is one song, your top song that is a must-have in your Spotify playlist?
Okay. Will it be embarrassing if I say I don't have a Spotify playlist?
Okay, maybe not Spotify. What app are you listening to?
Just
Apple Music?
No. I always have an 80-year-old inside. YouTube music.
Okay, that's fine. YouTube music.
Okay, well, I play the piano. So I often just practice my own tunes and sort of like, you know, like currently my favorite one to play on the piano is Shallow. Because my husband loved the song. And I sound like a frog. So
so you just play the piano?
No, so I play the piano, and then you know, whenever I get the house to myself, it's sort of like practice. It still doesn't sound good. So, but yeah, I mean, I have a lot of classics. I love my classics and everything. So I listen to a diverse range of things. You know, there's music for mood. I think like it's not fair for me to say that I like one particular singer or, you know, one particular, you know, type of music or anything like that. I listen to everything. It really goes by mood.
I understand.
And languages too. I do, you know, not just English. I have my Spanish, you know, my Enriquez, and I have my Arabic, and then, you know, I have my Moroccan music. Moroccan musics are just, you know.
Wow, I've never heard.
I can't do Zumba though. It feels like I need to move myself, but I don't quite get there.
Okay.
I'm still listening to it, you know, physically. That's what I mean. You see, that's why hence it's a real regret. I cannot bring myself to physically move as much as I want to.
Okay.
But piano. And talking about piano, it's quite interesting. I found out that, I mean, the reason why I took up piano, I only took it up in my early 30s.
Oh.
Reason being, it wasn't from young.
But now you are great at...
No, I won't say great. I think
you can play the piano.
I can play piano, but I need to practice a lot more. And the main reason I took it up is because I realized that, especially finance people, we use one part of our brain, the left side.
Yeah.
So we use the left side a lot for numbers, right? So, and used to be, I had the luxury of time, especially in Australia with work-life balance. I had a lot more time to do, you know, my paintings and things like that. So obviously when I moved to KL, I no longer have that luxury of time as much as I want it to be. But we have other priorities,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So I realized that piano is one of those activities or hobbies that can stimulate both sides of my brains.
Oh, both sides.
Both sides, and it's very important. I talk a lot, I read a lot, and I think like I'm very conscious about not wanting to lose my brain as I age. So I also believe that it helps me to make decisions better and faster. To have a proper overall simulation of both sides of my brains. So not preaching, but I just think that it's something that people might not realize, but you need to do a lot more than just your job.
Yes,
You need to
definitely.
do a lot more than just whatever that's beneficial to you. So you can see where as I get older, I'm also looking at that overall health as well. And so yeah, piano, hence why I took it up.
Okay.
So I want to improve on it though. Need to improve.
Maybe we can. Maybe I should take piano lessons.
It's fun. It's quite easy.
Seriously?
Quite easy. Quite
Okay,
easy, I thought.
alright.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on
Yeah,
individual.
yeah.
Depends on individual. But then again, I don't think it's impossible because I think it depends whether you're really creative with your hands and I think I'm a bit fidgety.
Oh.
So it feels nice to land them on something.
I see.
and then control. It's like your brains is
You're
like talking to
focusing
your
on
fingers.
your-
It's really nice, and that rhythm and everything, and the ability to actually create music, and you're listening back to it. So it really does stimulate your brain in a good way. It
Okay.
relaxes you.
Oh, interesting. That
Yeah.
sounds fun.
And 10 minutes a day. That's all you need.
10 minutes a day.
10 minutes a day.
Okay, all right. So, thank you.
You're welcome.
So this has been so inspiring and
Oh, thank you.
invested. Even I am so inspired right now
To play piano?
to play piano and to just be better.
Oh, Alhamdulillah.
Ah,
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That is all for today.
Thank you.
So, talk to you whenever.
Sure. Now we can go and actually have our Kopi session.
Kopi session. Kopi.
Kopi.
All right.
All right,
So
thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Jessimah,
You're
for
welcome.
this, for your time.
Yeah.
So we hope to see more of you in the future.
Inshallah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So everyone, that is all for Kopi and Culture today. Kopi and Kenal. See you next time. Bye bye.